Hey guys, and welcome back to the Deep Threats, and we are here today. We are live, we are happy, and today is July 19th. I hope you guys all had a great week and enjoyed your weekend. I just wanted to give you guys all a heads up that we are going to be talking a lot of news today and having some fun. But before we get into that, let me introduce you to my co-host here.
We have Fantasy Talk with Wheels and KJ and hot takes and hot news. So stick around and see what we have to talk about. It's going to be a fun day, even though we're going to be going over some stuff that have been talked about on Twitter.
Yeah, I have a feeling it's going to be a fun day today, and we're going to get into some interesting back and forth.
Yeah.
Anybody who's a pro player individual in the chat, jump into the chat because I'm pretty anti-player.
Me too.
And we're going to get into it today when it comes to some of the conversations and the debate topics that have been going around the socials. So that being said, what is on the docket for today is a little bit of free agency. We're going to talk about a little bit of the pickups and the guys that are still out there. We're also going to talk about some of the things that have been announced through Twitter. So like you got Madden rankings, you got shows that have been picked up, and a few other things. So I think the first things first, let's get into the most like nonsensical thing here, and it's going to be the show that was announced coming back, season 2 on Netflix, and it's like a quarterback's life essentially. I never saw the first one, don't care.
I didn't.
I think these guys are already egotistical enough as it is. Let's just shine a camera in their face and ask them how life is. I really feel like I don't even know what this is about.
I mean, I don't know, but I would like to watch the Cousins, just because I like Cousins and I want to see.
I want to see Mariota's life story just because he made it. He left. He went to Atlanta. He was pushing to make it in Atlanta, and then they cut him essentially.
Yeah.
So I mean, and now he's a backup on a Super Bowl team.
Yeah. So talking about this just real quick, you have best in the league, mid. We'll call it Cousins a mid.
Yeah, I would definitely say top, middle, bottom. I would definitely say top, middle, bottom.
I mean, this was for a reason. They did this for a reason, so you get every kind of aspect of the game, which is actually really smart. So I might watch it. I didn't watch the first season. Maybe I'll go back and watch it, but there's tons of stuff to watch.
Yeah, I really don't know too much. I'm just going to leave it at that because, like I said, you know how I feel already. It's just another camera being thrown in these guys' face, and they just enjoy it too much. And then it's just Mahomes more money to pay off his brother's debt for going to jail. So what is the first thing you want to get into? You know what? Let's get into this Saquon Barkley. That I just saw this tweet a second ago.
Josh Jacobs.
Yeah, I just saw this tweet a second ago, and Saquon Barkley, this is what he posted out there, and this is the first time I've read it. I just pulled the tweet, and this is it. Saquon, quote, "My leverage is I could say F you to the Giants. I could say F you to my teammates and be like, you want me to show you my worth? You want me to show you how valuable I am to the team? I won't show up. I won't play it down. And that's a play I could use." And he is.
You know what?
Is he not?
Yeah, but the funny thing is so who is... All right, let's say you sit the year. They don't tag you next year. You go into free agency. Who wants a player like that on their team?
Dude, did I not tell you last week that this has such Le'Veon Bell vibes?
It does.
I am
and
disgusted.
we talked about it for weeks.
Disgusted.
It's just,
same age.
Yeah.
Well, I think Le'Veon Bell might have been, a year older.
Le'Veon Bell was much... I think Le'Veon Bell was much better at the time of his contract. And he was
at least
healthier. Yeah, he was healthier. So
he ran the ball, caught the ball on a perennial playoff team.
Yeah. And it's
he had a lot of leverage.
I get it's the O is me. You know, I understand it. I get it. But you really going to put this out there for, teams to see in the future? Like, who wants a guy like this? You see Le'Veon Bell, yeah, he went to the Chiefs, won a ring. Where is he now? He's not on a roster.
He went to the Jets. He actually signed with the Jets.
Yeah, he went to the Jets. Then he got cut. Then he went to the Chiefs. I think he won a Super Bowl that year, but now he's not in the NFL. So, I mean, if that's how you want to play it, be my guest. But guess what? There's always going to be another guy. And there's we have multiple free agents, Leonard Fournette, Darrell Henderson, who both worked out with the Patriots today.
Kareem Hunt,
Dalvin Cook.
Mm-hmm.
You have tons of guys out there that are willing.
And every single one of these guys would take $14 million.
Elliott would fit perfect with that team.
Every single one of these guys would take $14 million. Yeah. All of them.
100%. Kareem Hunt.
And they're all only a year older, and Dalvin's 2 years older.
And Kareem Hunt, another guy who would fit well in that system. I mean, he catches out of the backfield. He plays not to the level of Saquon does, but he can definitely.
You know what I would say?
Top of it.
Would you go get a guy? And just bear with me on this one. Would you go get a guy like Kareem Hunt for $4 million, and then go get a guy like What's the Kenyon Drake?
Yeah.
He's still out there too.
Yeah,
and he's only like 28 years old, 29 years old.
Another strong back. Yeah, why not? Why wouldn't you? You can.
I'm just saying you can go get 2 backs for less than the price of one. Less.
And you know what? I mean,
what did Chicago pay theirs? They just signed I think didn't they
They signed what? They didn't sign
like $3 million. Every running back was making like $3 million deals this year.
Yeah. The Saints also did it to back up with the Alvin Kamara situation with Jamal Williams, which is another smart situation.
And Detroit, I mean, they cut DeAndre Swift. Swift went to the Eagles for pretty much pennies on the dollar, and then they drafted a running back in Detroit and signed a couple more running backs that are making $3 million a year. Like
there's a reason.
It's not worth it.
There's a reason that the teams are going running back by committee now is because you don't want to put all your eggs in one basket.
I don't know if there's a reason. Or here's what I'll tell you. Is that those that are fragile get replaced. Yeah. I mean, look at Zeke. Nothing against him.
No, nothing.
Towards the end of his career, he was bearing down an injury.
Mm-hmm. I mean,
Saquon had a good first year, great sophomore year, got injured his third year, started slowing down, came back super healthy, great, had probably the best season of his career outside of his rookie year, and then now he wants a contract.
Yeah, and the only
Thanks for performing for 2 years.
There's another guy that I don't want to say he's injury prone, but he's getting close, is McCaffrey. But he's performed. And
McCaffrey's also showing the willingness to stay on the field and do whatever needs to be done to one. And also, McCaffrey's gotten paid.
Yeah, but again, they signed him years before his contract was up. I believe he had 3 years left on his contract when they extended him.
But McCaffrey's not the number one paid either. So, if you're trying to get paid over $14 million, you're looking to be the number one paid running back in the league. Yeah. Both him and Josh Jacobs are looking to get paid more than Derrick Henry and Nick Chubb.
And it's not going to happen.
And it's not going to happen.
No. And so a lot of people, me included, were stunned at the contract the Giants offered Daniel Jones. It makes sense now. It does make sense. I mean, I'd rather, stick with Daniel Jones, who's looked better under Brian Daboll. I understand Saquon Barkley has been a huge factor.
You said it. You said it.
I know.
You said Saquon.
I know Saquon Barkley has been a huge asset for Daniel Jones, but guess what? There's always going to be another guy to take the place.
And then, so here's
the NFL.
Okay, so
7 rounds in the NFL draft. Multiple guys get drafted and multiple players get signed undrafted.
7 rounds. And then, which did not happen this year,
no,
the supplemental draft, nobody got taken. That was weird.
Austin Eckler was undrafted.
That was weird. Nothing happened in the supplemental.
Philip Lindsay, who had a good 3 years, was undrafted.
No, Philip Lindsay got drafted in the 5th or 6th, I think. I think so. And Austin Eckler definitely got drafted. It was he was a 6th-round draft pick.
Austin Eckler was unsigned out of Colorado State, I think.
He was a 6th-round draft pick. No bueno. I mean, it is what it is.
It's whatever, but still,
when you're getting, I understand the argument. You're getting these guys in 4th, 5th rounds.
Nope, never drafted.
Which one?
Western Colorado.
Lindsay?
Austin Eckler.
I thought he was. Thought I just saw recently he was. I could be wrong.
So
you just looked it up, so I'm obviously wrong.
Yeah. So and then look.
But here's the thing. Yeah, it is whatever. But getting into that, you were just talking about Daniel Jones, how much is he getting paid, right? So here's what I want to say, because I had to do stats this weekend because there are stupid people on Twitter, and when stupid people on Twitter post stupid things, it drives me insane.
Yeah, I mean it helps.
So when I saw this post on Twitter from ML Football, and this was actually stirred around. This wasn't just him. He retweeted this. This is a graphic somebody made from Spot Track.
Yes.
So the caption is the average salary for the NFL running back is $1.81 million, which is less than the average for a kicker, which is $2.26 million. Now, they put a picture of Saquon Barkley, $1.81 million, and then Justin Tucker at $2.26 million. Now, keep in mind, and before I get into the stats, if Saquon plays under his franchise tag,
he's making more.
He's not making $1.81 million.
No,
he's making $10.041 million on the franchise tag. If you want to know why running backs aren't making money, it's because they won't sign franchise tags. All right, I feel better. A little bit.
A
little bit.
What I love about this is as soon as I saw this on Twitter, I knew we were going to have a good day on the show.
Oh, man.
I knew it, because guess what? We do research, baby.
Okay, so let's get into the research. And I should have done a graphic. That's been great.
Hey.
But average salary for a running back, 1.783. That is the average salary for running back. That is per spot track.
So,
and I don't know where they get the 181.
Is that starting?
I think they took out the 2 zeros.
Is that starting?
There was zeros. So no, that is out of 174 running backs.
Holy.
And I think if you subtract the 2 running backs that aren't making a paycheck, I think you get the 1.81. So they did a little bit of adjusting. Adjusting for an average of 3.5 running backs per roster.
Yep.
That average goes up to 2.345.
Okay.
So it jumps $500,000 if I just take out the bottom 70 guys.
So you're including 3 running backs on the roster plus almost a guy on this practice
And just
squad.
an FYI, I took out everybody that wasn't signed to a roster that wasn't a rookie drafted tight end or running back.
Okay.
So McIntosh, I took him out. The guys that were rookies, McBride.
There's tons of teams draft rookie running backs all the time.
Yeah. So I took those guys out. So I adjusted for 3.5 running backs roster, and that's what I got was $2.345 million, which arguably is not a lot of money.
No, it's not.
Arguably not a lot of money. But we're talking roughly 100 guys here.
Mm-hmm.
Highest paid running back this year, Derrick Henry, 2023.
Yeah.
$16.367 million.
And he's how old?
And he's 31.
And he's produced, right? I mean, I think
every single year in and out. He only has not produced his rookie year, and then he came in his sophomore year, and then the 1 year he broke his toe, he went out week 10 and almost had 1,000 yards.
Yeah, I didn't even know that. We talked about that on the show weeks back.
So technically, he performed more than Saquon did on the years that he played 14 games.
It's almost if you're on the field and produce, you get paid.
So let me give you another stat before I get into the top 10 average, because that's a more fun one. Kickers average salary 2.196, which again they adjusted for the kickers that were at the bottom. That's out of 46 kickers.
So you're comparing 100 and
he's comparing 100. I'm going to say they're comparing 172
to 40
to roughly about 44.
Okay, so, I mean, obviously there's going to be twists in numbers when you add more of one side. It's almost like...
Oh, yeah, the more subpar players you throw in there with yearly contracts,
so
it's going to matter.
It's literally clickbait.
And we all know kickers get paid for 5 years, and they probably get an average of 3 to 4 a year. That being said, when you adjust for starters...
Of both?
Of just the kickers.
Okay.
So that's 32 kickers.
Yeah.
It's 2.82. So it's only slightly higher than what that is. And that's paying all starters. That's not backups. That's not backups. Nope. That's all starting kickers. All right. So then we go into highest paid kicker. So we all know who it is. It's the guy on the right up there. $5.958 million is what he's making this year in 2023.
And guess what? He single-handedly wins games.
I did not look that stat up until you said something before the show. I wanted to look it up, and I had not. I think Justin Tucker single-handedly outscores Saquon Barkley on touchdowns every year. So that being said, Justin Tucker puts more points on the field than probably most running backs.
Yeah.
And he's paid less than all of them.
There's a reason he's taken early in fantasy.
Yeah.
And the first kicker taken every year.
I don't disagree. Okay, so top 10 average kicker.
Okay.
What do you think he makes?
Top 10 average kicker. I'm going to say 3.6 mil.
Close. $3.9 million.
Okay.
Is the top 10 average kicker.
But again, those guys matter.
What is a franchise tag for a kicker?
Under 2 million?
Actually, no, because it's based off the top 10 usually.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, no, it's based off, it's based off the top 5 guys paid usually. Yeah. And that's previous year. So $5.39 million if you franchise tag a kicker. So that he has to be worth Justin Tucker money to franchise tag him.
I don't know if there's ever been a kicker that has been franchise tagged.
Maybe Dawson.
History. Oh yeah, maybe,
I think Phil Dawson was.
Maybe Dawson.
I think they used it. I think they used it just to waste it on Phil Dawson.
Yeah, we were pretty bad at that time. There was no way to waste it on.
Yeah. So let's jump over. We already talked about the franchise tag for the running backs. It's $10.091 million.
Yeah.
So obviously that's different. That right there proves that the top
double.
5. Yeah, it's double. It's literally double. The top 10 average running back. Throw a guess out there. Now, mind you, the franchise is 10.091.
We'll say 12.6 mil.
No, 10.484 million. So it's right around the franchise tag.
Yeah. So
if you want to be a top 10 running back paid, you're getting. Sorry, guys. You're getting franchise tag money. So take the damn franchise tag.
I don't understand that. not hard to do research, people. And this is what angers me.
And it's all based on a damn tweet.
Yeah, this is what, because you look at, oh my gosh, you look at those two pictures, those two numbers, and you just, oh my gosh, and there's, oh, I'm so mad. Oh, and there's a reason why people dislike social media. And this is part of the reason. And this is just sports, mind you, not politics. None of that. This is just sports.
No, this is people playing stats to just get people hyped up. And to be honest, it worked. It worked.
Yeah, and ML Football is literally, I know he retweeted it, but ML Football loves doing this. There's a reason why I'm
looking at that graphic, and it might actually have been from ML Football. But to be honest with you, when I hopped on Spot Track, it was like one of the first articles written.
If you do, like we said, it's not hard to do the research. 32, let's do 32 starting running backs, 32 kickers. It's obviously going to be vastly different.
I agree. Why not just take the starters on each team and compare them? And I didn't want to do that because then I would have had to do all the math.
Yeah, but it doesn't fit the narrative. That's why.
What? See, this is my thing. What freaking narrative? If you sign the franchise tag, you're getting paid $10 million.
It's like, oh my, this is what I love.
And if you sign the franchise tag next year, you get paid $10 million plus 10%.
I hope that he doesn't sign and he sits, because
Jacobs is right there. Don't forget.
I know, but I'm saying, and we'll talk about Jacobs with the Madden ratings, but yeah, let them both. If they don't want to, let them both sit. Because you know what? Look at the running backs that are currently out there, and they have yet to be signed. It is mid-July.
Yeah, and it's definitely early. It's definitely early.
But guess what? With this happening, just give it a week or two. I guarantee multiple will be signed.
And then me and you talked about the deadline on Monday with Saquon. Does the deadline matter? Like, okay, so he passed his deadline for the franchise tag. So now they have to come up with a contract. If they come up with a contract for a 1-year deal where it's the same as the franchise tag, so it doesn't make a difference.
Can I sign him on a multi-year deal or no? Is that completely gone now?
Well, here's the thing. That's not the issue. The issue is because they didn't sign him to a franchise tag, he's now, I think he hits free agency. There's no exclusivity to him now.
He's hurting himself with what he's saying. I understand. But guess what? Keep that buttoned up. If you're going to sit the year, just say,
he's sitting the correct year. It's his best year.
Yeah, and I get it.
And Josh Jacobs is sitting his best year.
Yeah,
so I get it. I don't argue with that, but here's the thing. Running backs get older every year.
And quick.
That might sound like a crazy statement for many people, but apparently people just seem to forget that running backs get older every year, and they don't make Adrian Petersons every day.
I would love to see the average running back that is in the top 15 or 20.
What do you mean?
Like the average age.
There's only it's hard because we're coming out of a really good running back era. So you're talking Dalvin Cook's at 29, right? So he's pushing 30. You've got Derrick Henry who's over 30. Alvin Kamara I think is 27. You got Zeke who is 28, I think.
You got Eckler who's 20.
Eckler's 27 I think also. Yeah. But no, he might be 28. He's up there. But we are coming out of a pretty good running back era, but I think that this goes in waves, right?
Yeah.
Like you got a guy like Kenneth Walker, you got a guy like Bijan Robinson, you got a guy like Breece Hall, you got guys like I even liked not Michael Carter. So Michael Carter that's behind Breece Hall?
Yeah, Michael Carter.
So I even liked Michael Carter, and they didn't even really play him.
No. That reminded me of the James Robinson, other guy I drafted, and
actually he's not even on a roster.
And I know, and
Patriots released him.
The Travis Etienne.
Yeah, Etienne's another guy that showed up last year, and he's only 23 years old.
There's tons of guys that
there's plenty of guys that are getting picked every year that are producing.
If you don't think the Giants are going to go out and sign one of the running backs that are out there, you're
no. The Giants are notoriously known for this before Saquon. Yeah. They were like the Patriots. They took whatever running back was available and they utilized them.
Yeah, because guess what? They know how to play it. They're not dumb.
I think it's all new front office. I don't know if it's all new ownership, but I definitely know it's all new front office since that era, the Eli Manning era. So,
but guess what? I'm not mad. I completely understand. You're not going to pay a guy multiple years for $15+ million who can't stay on the field.
So, since we're talking about this, let's get into the most absurd ratings in the world.
Madden ratings.
And because this has been going on for 2-3 days now, I think they came out yesterday. Let's jump right into running back Madden ratings, and let's see if Saquon's there.
That'd be great.
Let's see if Saquon's there. All right, so we have Christian McCaffrey at 2, Josh Jacobs at 3, Derrick Henry at 4, Saquon at 5. Okay. Dalvin Cook at 6, Austin Eckler at 7, Jonathan Taylor at 8, Tony Pollard at 9, and Aaron Jones at 10. And Nick Chubb at 1. I just didn't notice that was 1 because it was highlighted.
1, yeah.
My bad.
So
what do you think? Okay, so none of these guys are 99 overalls, which is they only give out like 2 or 3 99 ratings for the entire Madden. So none of these guys are 99 overall, which I would agree with that.
100%.
I don't think every one of these guys excels in one area, but they actually lack in another. Like Nick Chubb is not the fastest guy out there, but Nick Chubb is probably one of the better running backs with vision, sight,
he's a
patience.
very powerful running back.
Yeah, and he's super strong. And when he gets going, but he's just not that fast compared
like
to
a
all.
rock. I mean, he just moves.
And people are going to take me out of context. He's not that fast compared to some of these guys out here. I understand that he ran with DK Metcalf. I understand that he ran with a slow Tyreek Hill. It is what it is.
He's not a Jahmyr Gibbs type of speed.
Yeah, I really don't know what his 40 time was. So it's hard for me to tell, to be honest.
But guess what? All these teams play to the strengths of their running backs.
And Christian McCaffrey is very good all around, so I understand why Christian McCaffrey's where he's at. And we're also this rating is not based on health. This rating is based on actual productivity when stepping on the field.
So there's a reason that JT is 88.
It's actually
89?
shocking now that I say that, because why is Derrick Henry at 94? Like, I would put Derrick Henry at a 1, but receiving ability, that's probably why. He probably lacks in receiving ability.
Honestly, so if I had to restructure this top 10, Derrick Henry would be 1.
Yeah, but this is an overall rating. Yeah. Like, does he catch the ball? So, like,
no, but Nick Chubb doesn't really catch the ball that much.
Here's the thing, though. Yes, he does. Nick Chubb, I think, had 40 targets. I think he caught like 37 of them.
Oh, okay.
So, like, when he gets targeted, he catches the ball. The thing is, Derrick Henry gets like 12 targets on the year.
Yeah.
So, and he catches probably 7 or 8 of them. Now, I have to go back and look at that. I don't just go do research on that because I really don't know. But based on what I've seen, that's what I see. So here's before you re-rank it, here's my understanding is that it's an overall ranking. So like, yes, Derrick Henry is probably a 99 overall when it comes to running, but he's probably like somewhere around at 82 when it comes to receiving. Does that make sense?
100%. Whereas McCaffrey's going to be probably like a 90 receiving.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Well, McCaffrey might be. Yeah. McCaffrey, Saquon.
Is there anybody in the top 10 that shouldn't be there or that isn't? Let me ask you that. I personally don't think that.
Tony Pollard.
I completely agree. I don't think Tony Pollard. And
but keep in mind, that's an 88. It's not like he's in the 90s.
No. So
but Zeke should be there.
Yeah, I've been a huge Jacobs fan, right?
That's just me.
I think Jacobs should be a 91 and Derrick Henry should be a 95.
There's no rookie there.
No.
So Bijan's not up there, which is kind of a shock.
I would love to see the last time a rookie was in the top 10.
I don't care. Bijan was taken at 8th overall in the draft. Why is he not there?
I would probably, it's going to sound crazy, but I would take Bijan over Aaron Jones.
I would take Bijan over Eckler.
I would take him over Cook.
I would take him over Eckler, Pollard. I don't know if I'd take him over Aaron Jones because Aaron Jones has been pretty filthy all around, and he's done a very good job.
You got a new quarterback there, so that's a big.
I don't care. I'm talking about a player and his stats.
Okay.
I'm not talking about the team. Sing straight up, just Aaron Jones.
Up,
yeah. I mean, I think Aaron Jones is proven in the NFL, and I don't think Bijan is. But Bijan has probably everything that everybody's looking for at a running back.
There's a reason why he was drafted 8th overall.
That's my 100% is my argument. Yes.
No different when Saquon was taken, first?
Yeah, and Saquon was taken 1 overall, and I think he actually made the top 10 that year. But I am not 100% sure.
Yeah, so I mean, it's just Madden ratings are very skewed in the way you look at it. It's not fantasy ratings. It's not actual rankings. It's also, like we said, production. How you produce that year. So it's very skewed in the way they do things, which I was very taken aback by that ranking when I sent it to you in the chat. So
yeah, I mean, the rankings are fun.
Yeah,
I like talking about them because one, Madden doesn't matter. The rankings matter more than their game, which I think is hilarious. Is that they probably get more hype, free advertising for their game just based on their rankings.
100%.
Because I'll tell you right now, Nick Chubb.
Players react.
Oh my God, Nick Chubb is sitting here laughing because he's never been the number 1 running back in the league.
No, not once.
And he's ranked number one, which I'm not a fan of that. But he's a very humble guy, so I don't think it gets. I don't think this would get to him the way it would get to a Saquon Barkley.
No, he's not full of himself. He's very down to earth. He keeps to himself.
Dude's a monster too, man. His workouts are crazy.
He's smart as hell, though.
Yeah. And he's taken small contracts every 3 years. And I think what's going to happen is next year we have him again. I think he'll sign another contract to a $33 million deal. And I think he'll play till, if he's smart.
He loves Cleveland. He came out and said he loves Cleveland. I mean,
yeah, if he's smart, he'd just stay here.
Yeah.
I mean, I would love to see him in a Derrick Henry kind of mentality. Yeah. Just stay with the city. You win a ring, great. Go pad your stats, bro. Mm-hmm. Go pad your stats, because that's the one thing that's Stefanski's good, is making sure he's running.
Yeah, he can easily break the all-time rushing stats and rushing touchdown stats for running backs.
He's probably gonna break Jim Brown's record of average 109 yards per game.
I think he will this year.
It's kind of, well, I'm just saying over his career.
Oh, over his career.
Yeah. It's kind of crazy. It is kind of crazy.
Average 109 rushing yards per game. Yeah, I don't know how many Jim Brown had.
So where do you want to go from here?
Let's talk about D-Hop real quick before we get into wide receivers.
Oh, I forgot about D-Hop.
So D-Hop got signed to the Titans.
Oh, I didn't create it.
It's a 2-year deal, I believe, worth $24 million.
2 years, $24 million with a $3 million incentive per year. So it technically could be 2 years, $32 million.
How do you feel about? Let me ask you. How do you feel about this contract? Knowing what's going on with the Titans.
The question is, how do I feel about this contract for who? For the Titans, I think this is hilarious. Yeah. Okay, so if I'm the Titans, I think this is a legit good contract. If I'm DeAndre Hopkins, I am stupid for signing the incentive portion of this contract based on the way the Titans' offense runs.
Exactly. And now, I was going to say that because
if you looked at his bonus incentives, the way this contract runs, he's guaranteed his $14 million or $12 million, whatever. I think it's he's guaranteed $13 million this year, $13 million next year, with a 3-year bonus each year on incentives. The funny part about his bonus is the incentive structure goes, I think, from 65 to 75 to 95 catches. Mm-hmm. That's just one of his $1 million bonuses. And then the other one is, I think, 6 touchdowns, 7 touchdowns, 8 touchdowns. And then the other one is yardage, and it's like 600 yards, 800 yards, 1,000 yards. Anything you know about this offense?
They don't pass.
Okay, so they average passing the ball roughly about 450 times a season with Tannehill. That is not a lot of passing for the weapons that they currently have.
And how often does the Cincinnati Bengals throw the ball?
Oh, Cincy averages times? No, Cincinnati averages around 630 times a year.
Okay, so you're talking Joe about Burrow almost 200 more times a year.
Yeah, big difference. Yeah, so
I was just trying to put that in perspective.
But okay, let's put it in more perspective. Best wide receiver Tannehill has thrown to
A.J. Brown.
Since he's been there is A.J. Brown.
Yes.
How many times do you think A.J. Brown's been targeted since he's been there?
Targets?
Just targeted. Now, mind you, he was the number one wide receiver.
He was there for 3 years. Targets, I don't know, 320?
His targets.
His
targets. Just his targets. So, like, put it in perspective, DeAndre Hopkins' best year in Houston, best year for targets was 195. And that is absurd amount of targets. JJ's this year's was like 180, remember?
107.
116 targets was his max targets. So, what you're telling me is Tannehill on his best year, where he went to the playoffs with A.J. Brown and Corey Davis
and Derrick Henry,
that you have to receive 95%
of your.
You pretty much have to go for 90% receiving.
You got to be Larry Fitzgerald-esque with your hands.
No, you have to be Wes Welker.
Wes
Welker, and you're averaging 10 plus of down the field. You have to be Wes Welker.
Yeah, and
good freaking luck.
So, do you think I know Corey Davis wasn't very good when he was with the Titans. He wasn't.
I think
bad.
Corey Davis only got 87 targets.
Yeah, but do you think if there's another guy on that team can be good to Corey Davis? I know Treylon Burks is.
It's Treylon Burks. It is Treylon Burks.
Yeah, and a lot of people said, "Oh no, Treylon Burks. Treylon Burks is not the number one wide receiver."
Not now.
I don't think he's ever going to be.
Well, I think that's why they went on and got DeAndre Hopkins. I think they didn't trust him to be the number one wide receiver.
I think they see what happened last year, and I think they're seeing
he came back towards the end of last season, and he had a pretty good comeback. No. And keep in mind, he's a rookie. He's getting used to it. He's going up against some good teams in the AFC, good defenses.
It's a lot of these guys develop later. I mean, there's tons of guys, but it's I think that I like this move for the Titans. I'm not a huge fan of it for D-Hop because I would like to see D-Hop win a ring. I don't see it happening with the Titans. I don't. When you look at the teams in the AFC alone where the Titans play, correct? There's not a time where I see them in the Super Bowl, let alone making it to the AFC Championship game. Because they choke every year in the playoffs.
Oh, I disagree with that. Okay. Here's the thing.
They choke majority.
This is a very understandable but easy
cop out
target is saying a team chokes every year in the playoffs. Now, when you say a team chokes every year in the playoffs, right? Mm-hmm. You mean they lose every year. Well, that happens to, 30 teams. Very rarely do different teams go to the playoffs and win all the way to the championship. Yeah. Like right now, over the last 2 decades, we've got Kansas City and the Patriots and Tampa Bay have been there like 12 or 13 times. So that means the other teams, good luck. So
yeah, they made it to the conference championship game in 2019, which was Tannehill's best year.
Well, that was also the year that they beat the Ravens in the wild card.
Yeah.
So, like, I understand.
The Patriots and the Ravens in the division.
Right, and then they lost to Kansas City.
Who won the Super Bowl. So, but ever since then, they haven't been back. They lost to Cincy last year. They lost to the Ravens the year before that. Oh, no, sorry. They lost to Cincinnati in 21 and the Ravens in 2020. They weren't there last year.
Yeah, so I mean, like, I think that's a cop out to say that. They flop every year because I can easily say the Ravens flop every year. Like, I mean, I could say it. I mean, the only Super Bowl they've won recently in recent history is when the lights went out
with Flacco versus the Niners in 2013,
and that was one of the best defenses. So like,
yeah. And let's be honest, I fully believe that was.
But I mean, that's like saying like the Steelers, they flop every year since Cowher's been gone. Like, it just, there's many things I could say. Now, obviously, being a Browns fan, we just don't make it. So
we just suck.
Yeah,
so.
I mean,
what
was that tweet you saw earlier?
What
the Browns wouldn't make the playoffs?
So Andrew Sendejo sucks ass. I hate that dude. Oh God.
Andrew Sendejo said that the Browns would never make the playoffs
without him.
Yeah, that's hilarious. That's hilarious.
And Juan Thornhill.
The one year they made it is the year that Baker threw for like 3,500 yards.
Baker had an out-about experience, but Sendejo,
Nick Chubb had a great year. And
Sendejo was Swiss cheese. I could be.
He had a good year, but like he literally went somewhere and sucked.
Even worse.
Yeah, he was pretty bad the following year.
I mean, he was decent when he was on the Vikings, but he came to Cleveland, he was bad.
So the DeAndre Hopkins thing, right? Like, so I guess the argument would be, I think you already had Tennessee winning that division, right? Or did you have Jacksonville?
I think I have Jacksonville. So
you had Tennessee at the bottom. I had Tennessee too.
Yeah, I had Tennessee at the bottom.
And the question is, where does this put Tennessee in the plus-minus game?
I think Tennessee wins 8 games.
So I think you still have them in last.
Yeah, I would say 8 or 9.
Because I would put them closer to 10. I would give them a +2 with D-Hop.
Okay.
Because I think he does matter.
I got to remember where I put him, but I would go 9 or 10. I wouldn't disagree with that.
And do you say that now they're kind of tied with Jacksonville?
No, not at all.
Not at all. No. But do you think they jump from last to second?
I can see that.
You might have had Houston last. You might have had Tennessee third.
Houston's last.
And then the Colts would have been.
Yeah, you're right. Well, yeah, I had Tennessee second. Yeah, I could see Tennessee. I think Jacksonville wins 12 to 13 games. Again, I got to go back and see. This is just spitballing. I could see Tennessee winning 10. What do you see? I know you said 10.
I see a +2. I can see them going 10 or 11. Winning the division. I see them competing for first place now.
Okay.
The reason I didn't see them competing because I only saw 2 receivers. It was Chigosium and Treylon Burks. Yeah, I like Westbrook-Akine, and he's performed when they need him to, but that's not a guy that's breaking up defenses.
Who will have a better year, you think?
For what? A better year for what?
OBJ or D-Hop, since those are the 2 guys that are, wide receivers that have been signed and have had the most press surrounding them since their signings.
Just a serious question.
Yeah, 100%. I'm serious. Not trying to piss Ryan off or anything.
Well, it's not a
serious.
piss Ryan off. I literally talked to him about this earlier.
Yeah, and I don't want to, I'm not trying to, this isn't bash Ravens or
So
anything.
I think statistically,
I would have to go with OBJ. I think OBJ has a better year than Diop.
I think statistically DeAndre Hopkins is better
Okay.
as a wide receiver. I think when it comes down to potential, I think they both throw the ball roughly the same amount.
And I love D-Hop, don't get me
And
wrong.
when it comes to weapons, obviously I would say the Ravens have more weapons than Tennessee.
That's why I think they're going to throw a little bit more this year.
But I do think that DeAndre Hopkins is a route runner. Odell is also a route runner.
But
I think Odell is going up against some of the best defenses, and I don't think DeAndre Hopkins is.
No, you play Indy twice a year. You play Jacksonville twice a year. And
he does play Houston's corners, which we do like.
Yes.
But Indy's defense has gone downhill. Jacksonville's corners off the double tech. I think they have one decent corner.
Yeah, they're mid-level. I mean, they're not top. They have a better interior D line and stuff like that, and linebackers.
So I think he'll be fine. I would. So statistically, talking about those bonuses, I think D-Hop can break 1,000 yards. I'm not worried about that.
Do you see either of them in the top 10 for fantasy?
That's really hard to say because if I were to have to name guys that are probably potential top 10 receivers, I would have to. I think Garrett Wilson's up there. I think that. Actually. So no.
Okay.
No way. So I got Garrett Wilson, A.J. Brown, Stephon Diggs, Justin Jefferson, Amari Cooper, Cooper Kupp, Tyreek Hill,
because I don't even remember mine.
and Jamar Chase, and that is 8 guys. If I had to put 2 other guys up there, I still think Michael Thomas, if healthy, with Derek Carr.
Amon-Ra.
And then I would say Amon-Ra. Yeah, and that's if Michael Thomas is healthy.
Yeah.
If Michael Thomas isn't healthy, I think Olave could still be up there.
Yes.
But I would probably put Njigba statistically, and I know that sounds crazy putting a rookie up there. Oh no, I lied.
No,
I lied.
because you got DK there.
Yeah,
so
no. There's too many weapons to feed.
I think he takes over that wide receiver room real quick with Seattle's. Kind of
you know who could have a really good year, and it might sound crazy.
Maybe not top 10.
Pickens could have a good top 10 year.
I like that actually.
It might be unlikely,
but it could happen.
But I think it's possible because he is going to be that guy. It's Pickett to Pickens all day, and I think he's the go-to guy for him.
Yeah, I think.
Speaking of go-to guys, did you know Eli Apple is still on the waiver wire?
He's burnt toast, so it doesn't matter.
I'm just saying that means the Cincinnati Bengals don't have that corner that played and started all year for him last year. Just throwing that out there. Oh, let's move on. You're right.
Let's go to
go quarterbacks.
Madden rating.
Let's go quarterbacks. All right, so this is the quarterback ones. This one's not a fancy graphic. Thanks, Wheels. All right,
it's quick.
Obviously, number 1, Patrick Mahomes.
Number 2, Joe Burrow.
Obviously, number 2, Joe Burrow. I don't know if it's an obvious number 3 because if I was going to rate a quarterback, I would probably statistically put Justin Herbert here.
As much as I am a huge fan of Josh Allen, I think I had him ranked 2 or 3. But I would not doubt to see that Justin Herbert has a MVP season.
Just throwing that out there.
So 2, yeah. So I'll stick by my graphic. I mean, I could definitely see him 3, but I don't really understand.
So you're not upset with this?
No, I would take Herbert.
Josh Allen at a 93 overall?
It's a little high, 90. I'd put him at a 90, and I'm a fan. So
you got him below Lamar Jackson on this list.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, yeah. So full healthy. And as much as I diss Lamar.
Well, all aside, I kind of agree with you because when we go look at the stats of Lamar Jackson and Josh Allen, they're very consistent, and Lamar's a better runner. Yeah. So why would Lamar not be higher than Josh Allen as an overall rating?
And Josh Allen has gone downhill since Dable left.
Yeah. So but like I said,
not downhill, but his accuracy and interceptions. His accuracy has gone down and his interceptions have gone up.
So for me, a lot of people might not like this, but Justin Herbert
is too low.
Justin Herbert is a poor man's Joe Burrow. Like
you've said this multiple times.
I mean, he is very good. He's consistent. He is very accurate downfield. He makes good decisions. He throws the ball a whole bunch.
I called Justin Herbert going to the Chargers because that system fit him very well coming out of Oregon.
I just think it's crazy to have. I mean, I get he's at 5, and I get he's behind 2 of the better running
But I don't have
quarterbacks.
So just
Dak doesn't belong.
Dak does not.
Jalen Hurts belongs
anywhere.
way above Dak, but they're tied.
I'd take Jared Goff over Dak Prescott.
Yeah, Aaron Rodgers down there. I get he came off a bad year, so I can't argue that because it's based on their stats from the previous year. So I can't argue that. He's had an 87 this past year, or 86.
Jalen Hurts kind of got dissed. So you want to restructure this? You want to kind of remake this top 10 real quick?
Well, I don't even know how Kyler Murray gets a 79.
Kyler Murray, I'm not even paying attention to that. I don't care.
I'm throwing this out there. Like, how
bad.
does Kyler get a 79?
Let me just say this.
Where's Jacoby?
When that's what I was about to say. When Jacoby.
Where's Geno?
Geno's up there. He's right there.
Did I miss him? Oh, okay. So Geno's above Kyler by 1.
Before I made the show and I was on the show, I was in chat saying, you got to compare these stats. You got to compare these stats. When Kyler was hurt, the game that Kyler went out, him and Jacoby Brissett had identical stats nearly. Identical. So, we made the Joel Wise and Jacoby, but we make this name thing. Kyler Murray doesn't belong. There's other quarterbacks 100% that I would put up there over Kyler Murray. I got to see the list again just to see. But, I mean, I put Deshaun Watson up there. He's not on the list because of production. He wasn't healthy for a full year. Again, this list goes off of production of the season before. So a lot of these guys, again, Murray, I don't know why he's
Deshaun Watson did not, like Deshaun Watson not playing for 2 years and then coming back and having those last 6 games. I understand. I easily can understand why Deshaun Watson's not up there. I mean, there's no shelf life for the last 2 years.
My guy Kirk Cousins made the top 10 for Madden ratings. He produces. Aaron Rodgers produced. Jalen Hurts produced.
Dak
Prescott.
Here's the thing. Okay. Here's the thing. You're gonna have Aaron Rodgers at 86, right? How can you have Kirk Cousins at 84?
I think they're identical. 86, 86, or 84, 84. I mean, I don't know how you.
No, but my thing is like, how can you have Kirk Cousins at 84? Kurt runs. He can run. Mm-hmm. Kurt throws the ball. He had great weapons. Don't disagree. But he also threw for I think he threw for over 4,000 yards last year. I think it
was 4,200.
And I don't know what his interceptions were, but I'm pretty sure Aaron Rodgers had the worst year of his career, and he makes the top 10 in Madden? Like, come on, bro.
Kirk Cousins had...
That's ridiculous. It's
4,500 yards, 29 touchdowns, 14 interceptions, 92 quarterback rating.
Dude, his QBR's better than his damn Madden rating.
Aaron Rodgers had 3,700 yards, 26 touchdowns, 12 interceptions, 91 rating.
Dude.
So does this go back to namesake, which I know you hate when I bring that up.
100% this has to do with namesake.
But
100%.
Kyler Murray, I think that is solely namesake. Jared Goff should not be a 79. He's produced. I think I'd put him above Geno. I know Geno had a great year. I like Jared Goff because the way he was.
Jared had a better year though.
Yeah,
they just didn't win games.
No, but again,
actually, they won the same games.
They
won the same amount of games.
Who?
The Seattle Seahawks and the Detroit Lions.
100%. Yeah, you are right. I forgot about that. Yes.
So I don't know. I gotta get off this one because this one I will rant on all day. I'll rant on this all day. I agree with Patrick Mahomes and Joe Burrow. It's all I can agree with. And to be honest with you, the only reason Joe Burrow is a 95 and not a 98 is because Patrick Mahomes can run, and they don't trust Joe Burrow to run, even though Joe Burrow ran the ball over 65 times last year.
Joe Burrow should be 98. Mahomes should be 99. And I know they don't give out 99s, but Mahomes has showed enough.
I don't disagree.
I think you should.
I think I would agree with that. And I would also. I don't understand how you can have
Josh Allen 93. I don't
understand how you can have the Jalen Hurts year that Jalen Hurts had and have him at below a 90.
Yeah, I would like to go back to the year that the Bengals made the Super Bowl. The year after that to see where Joe Burrow ranked for that rating.
Might have to do like a QB comparison ranking.
I would like to see that.
All right, so we're gonna jump in. Man, I got flickering lights over here.
Yeah, I've been staring at it. It's freaking me out, man. We got a ghost down here.
I might have to plug that in. I don't even know why it was on. So let's go into
wide receivers.
This one's hard to read.
Yeah, sorry.
So you got Justin Jefferson, 99 overall. Me and you probably wouldn't disagree with that. No. I will tell you that he got like a 98 for route running, and I disagree with that. Tyreek Hill, 98 overall. Most people wouldn't disagree with that. Devonta Adams, 97. Cooper Kupp, 96. I think a lot of people would probably swap those
because
two.
Of the Cooper Kupp wasn't there a lot of the year.
Yeah, but I still think they're basing it on his game footage.
Yeah.
So I think that Cooper Kupp still would probably be a 97, Adams at a 96 personally.
Yeah.
I do like Cooper Kupp as a receiver as much as you guys don't think I do.
I like him as a wide
receiver. I do like him as a wide receiver. I just don't like his situation this year. Stephon Diggs at 96, Jamar Chase at 94. I think a lot of people would say Stephon Diggs is better.
He's consistently been a top 3 wide receiver.
But Jamar Chase is younger, and I think Jamar Chase is capable, but the question is, does quarterback make a difference?
As much as I'm not a huge fan of Jamar, I would take Jamar over Stephon Diggs on a team.
And that's because quarterback situation, though.
Yeah.
But Stephon Diggs has made 2 different quarterbacks look pretty good.
Yeah, I mean,
just throwing that out there. Jamar Chase hasn't gone anywhere with any other quarterback, and he's never had another ball.
I like Diggs. It's just.
Well, Jamar Chase has never had another quarterback throw the ball to him, so that would kind of.
And you got to remember, he played with the same guy he did in college.
That's what I'm saying. He's never had another quarterback throw the ball to him.
Yeah, never.
Because the year that Joe Burrow wasn't in college, Jamar Chase opted out for the COVID year.
Oh, yeah.
So he's never had another quarterback throw to him.
So this is where this list gets kind of screwy for me. I agree
with this. Nope, I agree with this.
I like Terry McLaurin, but he should be higher. I think he should be a 94.
I think Terry is underrated? Yes, but Terry doesn't have the stats to back up
and I think
being above the other guys because of his quarterback situation.
Exactly.
I don't disagree, but you have to still get the stats. If I show you DeAndre Hopkins' year that he had 5 quarterbacks throwing to him and they targeted him 195 times, he had over 1,500 yards. And he had 11 touchdowns. So you got to still perform even if nobody's throwing the ball to you.
And, I mean, I might be...
nothing against Scary Terry because I'm a huge fan of Scary Terry. Huge fan.
And then you go to A.J.
Brown.
This is a little rough for me. I feel like they're kind of hating on the Eagles.
No.
I think he had 1,500 yards this year.
Yeah, I don't think the yardage matter. I think this has to do with route running
12
ability.
touchdowns.
This has to do more with route running ability. A.J. Brown is slightly like a DK. He's more of like a street guy downfield. Okay. He's not a really like quick guy underneath. I think that's why you get the Tyreek Hills, the Devontae Adams, the Cooper Kupps, the Stephon Diggs, the Jamar Chase. These are guys that are good route runners, crisp, clean, can get underneath, move left and right. And I think that's the difference. Amari Cooper now, he's slow, but he's one of the best route runners in the league.
He is a top 3 route runner in the league, 100%, and he has great hands. He has very good hands.
But I think that's why he gets dropped down because he's a truck. He is slow.
But guess what? He catches the ball. He had a great year with Jacoby last year, and guess what? He produced, and he's a 9th overall.
The one I will say I disagree with is, and I'm not a Mike Evans fan, but Mike Evans should be above Scary Terry.
He's consistently put up.
He should be above A.J. Brown.
I think if he puts up 1,000 yards this year, he'll be the
only receiver to put up 9 consecutive seasons of 1,000 yards or something like that.
He does it. Baker and Kyle Trask, please, for the love of God, just give him 1,000 yards.
Yeah, give him a chance.
Just give him 1,000 yards.
Deebo Samuel here. I agree with this because Deebo's probably more of a runner.
Keenan Allen, I don't.
I like DK.
Hard.
Keenan Allen was good, but he's got injury issues, but it doesn't matter.
Lockett is above DK is insane.
Route runner. DK's another street guy. If you notice the list, they put route runners above straight up downfield guys.
I think
now Amon-Ra this low. Yeah, that actually.
T. Higgins too, but again, T. Higgins he's not a yak guy.
Yeah, I don't know. We're getting into the area where these are probably like.
It's hard.
Yeah, I cut off the right rankings. Michael Thomas down there is kind of crazy.
Let's talk about Adam Thielen as the 32nd best.
That is kind of crazy.
I just noticed that that's pretty insane.
Let's talk about Garrett Wilson, who won Offensive Rookie of the Year at 29.
Or Marquise Brown, who had a great year.
How do you put Odell above Garrett Wilson, who didn't even play in the league?
No, Garrett Wilson played.
No, Odell didn't.
Oh, yeah.
He wasn't even on a roster last year. Wasn't even on a roster.
I say
whatever.
You hate it.
All right.
Namesake.
I like Calvin Ridley. I like Calvin Ridley. I kind of like it. I like it.
No, Kirk will be number 1, baby.
I like it. Do you see the way they're hyping him? They just said he's one of the fastest route runners and crisp route runners that have ever been in the league.
I hope it works out. But again, this is why I have the Jags
I'm rooting for Trevor Lawrence because I'll tell you right now, I was one of the few people. I didn't buy into the hype train.
Neither did I. I said he was going to be a bust.
I never said he'd be a bust, but I didn't buy into that hype train because it was ridiculous.
Yeah. I said that he was going to be a bust.
All right, so let's get to the defensive side of the ball. Nick Bosa, obviously Defensive Rookie of the Year or Defensive MVP, and then Myles Garrett was the runner-up to the Defensive MVP. Micah Parsons, runner-up to the defensive MVP. TJ Watt had the huge injury year, so obviously his stats dipped a little bit last year.
This is again where I don't get it because Von Miller was hurt, I think, for 6 games. I would take Max.
So was TJ.
But I would take Max Crosby over.
Well,
Von.
I think it's production in those games. What are the sacks per games? What are your defenses per games? What is your run block? Like, I think a lot of that matters. Joey
Hassan
Bosa,
Reddick, another Eagle that's getting
Hassan had a great year.
But again, I feel like the Eagles are getting, just trampled.
Maybe there. I think Hassan probably above Bosa last year. Joey, not Nick, would make a difference. Matthew Judon did have a great year. I don't know why DeMarcus Lawrence is up there. Personally, I have to go look at his stats.
Dallas.
I have to go look at his stats, but there's no reason 2 Dallas players should be up. There's a lot of other guys out there.
Yeah, 100%.
I don't have much. Oh, hey, Corby. I think Kupp is too high. He ain't no 96 this year. So that's a Madden rating based on last year's stats and kind of projection into the next year. So
these are my ratings. Yeah, these are Madden ratings.
If it makes you feel better, Corby, we did a mock draft and we didn't have Cooper Kupp going to the 3rd round.
Yeah, it was late.
Which was kind of, it might have been late 2nd.
Yeah, and we got the show hated us kind of for some.
Yeah,
some
I definitely got some harassment about it. But to be honest with you, I agree. I agree with you, Zach.
But I mean, redraft versus dynasty, that's where it's kind of a gray area because it's hard to tell because with dynasty you need them good for 1 year or dynasty is
that was a redraft league though. We drafted him late 2nd, so
but
I mean,
could you imagine in dynasty he'd be going? What do you think? 5th round?
What he's going, I would take him in the 4th, 5th round, but I think he's going to go way before that. I don't know if I take him any higher than the 5th round.
I wouldn't
in
either.
a dynasty. I don't know if I would,
not at all.
Especially with the wide receivers out there. No way. So, I mean, I think that's kind of it for Madden. We could have gone into like safeties, corners. I didn't want to do that. These are big name guys. I think that this ranking here, personally, it's pretty close.
Yeah.
I think I would take Max Crosby over Von Miller last year.
100%. I would.
And Von Miller's like 32.
Yeah. He's definitely old.
Yeah, so I don't know. Oh, my God.
I don't know if he's going to be healthy for the start of the year because I believe he tore an ACL.
Yeah, his projections for his ability this year, like he's at his age, there's no way I think he becomes a top 5. I like him. I love his talent. I just don't think it's there anymore, and I hate to say that. I mean, one of the best guys to play the game. So it sucks when you get old.
Yes, it does.
You got anything else for today? I mean,
so
Zach, thanks for chiming in the chat. We do appreciate it.
So running backs, just real quick, we talked about free agency. Darrell Henderson and who else? Leonard Fournette worked out with the Patriots.
Oh, so I can give you those. So free agency. So notable free agents there in the NFL right now. You've got Dalvin Cook. We talked about him. Kareem Hunt talked about him. Zeke Elliott talked about him. Leonard Fournette talked about him. And then I told you one other guy that was Kenyon Drake, who's way down that list.
James Robinson.
James Robinson just got released from the Patriots. So running backs are out there.
Yeah, I mean,
and they're the argument, they're a dime a dozen.
Yeah, and
there's not a lot of teams that need running backs.
Yeah, and don't be surprised if the Giants don't be surprised if they cut him if they say he's going to sit.
Yeah, because
why wouldn't you?
I don't think Dalvin Cook will go there because I think Dalvin Cook's looking for a ring.
But Kareem Hunt might.
I think Kareem Hunt goes wherever they pay him.
Zeke might. Zeke would go wherever.
I think Zeke would go.
You're in the same division.
I don't know.
You're in the same division.
Yeah, I don't know if he wants to go there. I don't think he wanted to leave Dallas in the first place. I think the only place Zeke would go would probably be Cleveland, personally. And I don't know if Cleveland would sign him.
He is going to be at the real cheap deal.
I think he's holding out to see if Dallas will re-sign him for like $8 million.
Yeah, I mean they might. But, I mean, there's wide receiver or not wide receiver. There's running backs out there.
Here's your wide receivers. So obviously, you told me earlier Denzel Mims was not released by the Jets. They're seeking a trade.
He'll be cut because they're now going to trade him. But the problem is now that you have already said that, hey, we're going to release him. They might give up a 7th, maybe.
I don't think a team's going to give up a 7th. Yeah. I really think
maybe
Denzel Mims did not perform well, but
he's never produced.
You know what? A 7th is a flyer. A 6th is a flyer.
Yeah,
so I guess if you're looking for a receiver, go for it. I mean, I get it. T.Y. Hilton's out there.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's kind of funny because he did sign last year for like half the season. Julio Jones, another guy that if he wanted to play and not retire, he's out there.
I'd like to see him go back to the Falcons.
I'd like to see him on a better year, personally.
Yeah.
Just personally. N'Keal Harry, he's young. He's still out there. He got taken by the Bears. The Bears released him.
Yeah, I think he's 25.
26.
26, okay.
And then I think that's kind of really it for wide receivers. So wide receivers pretty thin.
A little thin.
And then I will say one name that I found defensively that kind of stuck out to me was Yannick Ngakoue. Like the fact that he's a DN. The fact that he's kind of out there kind of shocks me. And and with the Browns releasing Perrion Winfrey,
he's under 30, isn't he?
Yeah, I think he's like 28. Yeah.
So,
but the Browns released Perrion Winfrey today.
Oh, did I didn't?
Yeah, so the Browns released Perrion Winfrey.
He was in some legal trouble. Wasn't
well, that's why they released him, was because of the alleged assault.
Yeah, the Browns they're not going to play that game anymore.
Well, and not only that, let's be honest. You can't do stupid off the field shit when you've got guys in front of you like Agboniak, Ronquo, Dalvin Tomlinson, Zadarius Smith. Like there's guys that are going to cover that line now, and you are way on the back of their mind. They don't care.
You're in a thin piece of ice.
Yeah, I mean, you just made Togiai's job to make the roster way easier, which pissed me off because Togiai didn't deserve a roster spot after last year.
Not at all.
So give me your takeaways for today. I think we're coming to the end of the show today.
Don't believe everything you read on Twitter. Stats lie.
Oh, no, you can believe it. I just think you need to understand that stats can be skewed.
Yeah, do some research. That's all we ask. It's not hard. Google's there. Google's your friend. There's tons of...
Google's not your friend.
Google's a good search engine. Better than Bing.
Oh, no, I use Brave.
What?
Yeah, the Brave web browser is phenomenal.
What is Brave?
Yeah, see, that's the problem. You're not paying attention. Google tracks everything. Brave don't track anything.
They can track me. Whatever.
That's it? That's all you got for today?
Well, we won't be here next week. I'll be on vacation in Tennessee, so we're going to take a week off, I think.
Yeah, I think we're going to take a week off just because I don't want to do another show by myself. I can. But there might be slow news. If there's news, I'll announce it on Twitter, and we will try to get out there. But go ahead. Anything else?
No, I'm just stats lie.
Facebook?
Andrew Sendejo, you blow. We do have a Facebook page. It's the Deep Threats. At the Deep Threats. We have a click button there to go over to our YouTube. So if anytime you're scrolling Facebook and see our page come up,
it'll send you over to our YouTube.
Yep. So just watch away. Comment away. We got a Discord that he has set up.
All right. Look at that. I got my wide receiver still up there. All right. So my takeaways for today: running backs. Please understand, your quarterback takes up almost 20% of your salary cap. If you want $10 million, that's another 8% roughly.
You got to earn it.
Of your salary cap. Oh, no, sorry. It's 3% of your salary cap.
Holy crap. So
if you want 3% of the salary cap and the quarterback gets roughly about 20% of the salary cap, that means roughly 78% of the salary cap now has to go to 51 guys. So I think you guys need to understand this is a team sport.
Yeah. And clearly Saquon doesn't.
There is a reason the quarterback gets paid. And it's not because he's the best athlete. It's because he runs your offense.
And he holds the ball the most.
And there's a reason your safeties get paid. Is because if anything gets behind them, they're held accountable. And there's a reason your defensive end get paid. Is because they get paid to kill the guy that gets paid the most on the other team.
Yep.
So everybody else gets paid what they're worth. And wide receivers' worth is a little bit higher than running backs because of shelf life. And if you don't understand that, you should look at a new profession. Simple as that. Outside of that, please like, subscribe, follow us on YouTube, Rumble. We are posting videos there. I'm posting shorter videos there. I'm trying not to post hour videos for all you guys that don't like hour videos. I'm trying to cut it up into 2 clips. And you, like he said, Discord, Facebook, Twitter, at the Deep Threats. Follow us everywhere. Like, subscribe, enjoy life, and we will see you next time on the show. Peace out and have a wonderful day, guys.
Later.